Sugarcane Island is technically the first choose-your-own-adventure book ever written. It was actually released before the choose-your-own-adventure name was even used. In fact, the original version of this book was written in 1969. It was first published in 1976, and then in the early 80s it was re-released under the banner of the Which Way book series. Choose-your-own-adventure itself was already underway by this point, so it does seem kind of weird that Packard's book didn't get released as a choose-your-own-adventure back then, and instead wound up under Which Way. But in 1986, it was finally released under the Choose Your Own Adventure banner, and the book was revised for this release with changes to the writing, an expanded story, and new artwork by Ted Enoch. So basically, this is the book that started the whole craze. So what is it about? You've been invited to join an expedition to the Galapagos Islands by someone who studies turtles, and on the way, your boat is thrashed by a wave and you go overboard. So all those Choose Your Own Adventure books with boat crashes? Now you see where it began. Anyway, you awaken on a sand dune on an island and you have to make your first choice. Walk along the beach or go inland. On all honesty, there's not much reason to read this book. It's not very good. You can tell it's definitely the first book that Edward Packard wrote. There's a lot to be desired here. Basically, the story branches are all just dealing with various situations in regards to tribal people on the island, a pirate, or various animals. All endings in this book are essentially variations on finding a village with a boat that can take you home. Seriously, the cover says 39 possible endings, and I'm willing to bet at least 30 of them are, you found a village with a boat and you went home. Not kidding. There are lots of choices in the book, and some of the choices will loop back to other plot lines, and there's even a point where you meet some weird guy with a bushy beard who causes you to be in a time loop, and then you end up redoing choices you did earlier. But seriously, the endings in this book, they're all sort of takes on the same thing. Here's some of the endings I found in this. Walked through snow on a mountain and found people in a meadow on the other side. I was rescued. Taught tribal people not to be afraid of snow. Made it over a snow-covered mountain pass and saw a green valley beyond, but then I was just too weak and I just died. I saved a grizzled old man by finding him food. He gave me treasure. I went home rich. Found sailors who put me on a boat headed for home. Got captured by hairy islanders and tossed off a cliff into a lagoon. Survived it, so they celebrated me, fed me, showed me the way to a village where I caught a boat back home. Drifted down the river and found a boat ride to the Galapagos Islands where the person I was originally with was waiting for me. Escaped a volcano and found a village whose people inform me there's a boat coming from Mexico that can take me home. Villagers think I stopped a volcano, so they give me jewels and tell me where there's a village that has a boat that can take me home. Some Australians take me to the Galapagos Islands, and I catch a boat and go home. There's some endings with a pirate where you can ride some crap boat through the ocean and somehow you don't die. You can be killed by the pirate, but he tells you where he has a diamond hidden and, of course, a boat to go home. You can also find out the whole thing was just a dream. You can be mistaken for a space god by tribal people, and they show you where there's a village and a boat to go home. There's a couple of sort of weirder endings in the book. There was one where you just die alone and your bones are found by explorers, and another one where you're basically addicted to some sort of drug fruit and then you spend forever trapped in a happy stone stupor. You know, Sugarcane Island is really a below average Choose Your Own Adventure book. The writing is much more simple than the series is known for, and it definitely feels like it was geared toward an even younger audience than the series actually targeted. However, it's also the first of its kind, and it's Packard's first book, so it is notable in that light. It's nothing you'd want to read when there's so much else in the series that'd be far better, but it could be considered a bit of history and a collectible since it was how the whole series actually began. Until next time, don't read this one.